Could a New Zealander be about to solve one of the world's greatest mysteries, the existence of the Loch Ness Monster? An Otago University scientist is carrying out DNA testing on the loch's water. One News Europe correspondent Joy Reid travelled to Scotland and up to Loch Ness to find out more.
All good? Yep. Ready to deploy.
What lurks within Loch Ness is one of Scotland's and the world's most enduring myths.
I hope everyone's looking out for Nessie.
And now a Kiwi scientist wants to solve it.
Okay, that's lovely. So this is pure Loch Ness water from about 15 metres down. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to filter it and find out what organic material is present in that sample.
Professor Neil Gemmell and a team of scientists will DNA test water from varying depths. They hope to learn what lives or has lived in the loch.
It's a way of looking for animals without seeing them.
This is the University of Otago's most famous study yet. In fact, it's garnering all sorts of international attention. In fact, there have been 2,500 stories written about it around the world.
It's kind of clear, maybe a little bit yellow.
But it contains some scientific jewels in there.
Scientific jewels and maybe a bit of monster pee, who knows?
There's been more than 1,000 alleged sightings of the supposed Loch Ness Monster.
It isn't a wild goose chase, it's a legitimate scientific experiment, and we might find a monster.
The latest sighting just 2 weeks ago.
Do you believe that there was or is a Loch Ness Monster?
I think it's highly dubious that there's such a creature.
The fact that you do not have evidence of something doesn't necessarily mean that it's evidence of absence. And as long as people want to believe in the Loch Ness Monster, it will certainly be there.
We'll know in January if science agrees.
Could the monster be in here? It might be, Joy. It depends what the monster is.
Joy Reid, One News, Loch Ness.
Welcome to Mega Top 10s. In this video, we'll explore the top 10 mythical sea creatures. Number 10. Cthulhu. Cthulhu is an undersea monster and has been described as a mix between a giant octopus, a man, and a dragon. It's hundreds of meters tall, with human-looking arms and legs and a pair of wings on its back. Cthulhu's head looks like an octopus, with tentacles surrounding its supposed mouth. H.P. Lovecraft's story, The Call of Cthulhu, established the character as a malevolent entity hibernating within an underwater city in the South Pacific called R'lyeh. Games company TSR included an entire chapter on the Cthulhu mythos in Deities and Demigods 1980. Number 9. Leviathan. The Leviathan of the Middle Ages was used as an image of Satan attempting to eat God's creatures. Leviathan became associated with, and may originally have referred to, the visual motif of the Hellmouth, a monstrous animal into whose mouth the damned disappear at the Last Judgment. Young Earth creationists argue that both the Leviathan and the Behemoth in the Bible could only have been dinosaurs that they claim still existed when the Book of Job was written. In the study of demonology, the Leviathan is one of the 7 princes of Hell and its gatekeeper. Number 8. Umibozu. The Umibozu is said to live in the ocean and capsize the ship of anyone who dares speak to it. This spirit's name, which combines the character for sea with the character of Buddhist monk, is possibly related to the fact that the Umibozu is said to have a large, round head. Alternatively, they are demonic yokai, specters, that appear to shipwreck victims and fishermen. It's usually reported as having a grey, cloud-like torso and serpentine limbs. If angered, it asks the crew to provide a barrel. It then fills it with seawater to drown them. Number 7. Lernaean Hydra. The Lernaean Hydra was an ancient serpentine water monster in Greek and Roman mythology. Its lair was the Lake of Lerna in the Argolid. Lerna was reputed to be an entrance to the underworld, a sacred site older than Mycenaean Argos. The Hydra served as a sort of guard. The Hydra was the offspring of Typhon and Echidna. It possessed many heads, and each time one was lost, it was replaced by 2 more. It had poisonous breath and blood so virulent that even its scent was deadly. Number 6. Kappa. As water monsters, kappa have been blamed for drownings as they try to lure people into rivers. The kappa is typically depicted as humanoid in form and about the size of a child. Its scaly reptilian skin ranges in color from green to yellow or blue, and it has webbed hands and feet. In Japanese folklore, the expression kappa no kawa nagare, a kappa drowning in a river, conveys the idea that even experts make mistakes. A flat hairless region on the top of the head that is always wet is regarded as the source of the kappa's power. Number 5. Scylla. During Odysseus' voyage, he had to steer his ship through a narrow strait that had dangers on both sides. On one side was Scylla, a beast with many heads that could grab crew from the deck. On the other side was Charybdis, a sea monster that sucked ships to the bottom of the ocean using a whirlpool. The Straits of Messina run between Sicily and the Italian mainland, where Scylla and Charybdis apparently lived. Charybdis is an actual whirlpool, but no creature lives inside. The heads of Scylla were apparently inspired by the rocky shoals on the other side of the strait. Number 4. Jormungand. Jormungand is a creature in Norse mythology who lives in the ocean that surrounds Midgard, the visible world. The beast is so large that his body forms a circle around the entirety of Midgard. He's one of the 3 children of Loki and the giantess Angerboa, along with Halland Fenrir. Thor is one of his notable enemies. In one story, Thor uses an ox head as bait, which Jormungand bites. Thor pulls a serpent from the water and the two battle. This encounter with Thor seems to have been one of the most popular motifs in Norse art. Number 3. Fiji Mermaid. This mermaid was supposedly caught near the Fiji Islands in the South Pacific. It was a common feature of sideshows where it was presented as the mummified body of a creature that was supposedly half mammal and half fish, a version of a mermaid. The original creature was exhibited by P.T. Barnum in Barnum's American Museum in New York in 1842 and then mysteriously disappeared. Travelers of the sea still keep their eyes open in hopes of catching this mythical creature. Number 2. Kraken. The Kraken is a legendary sea monster that is said to dwell off the coasts of Norway and Greenland. It's been postulated that the legend originated from sightings of giant squids that may grow to 20 meters in length, despite the fact that the creature in the tales was not described with tentacles. Since the late 18th century, kraken have been depicted in a number of ways, primarily as large octopus-like creatures. The kraken is also said to have spikes on its suckers. In the earliest descriptions, however, the creatures were more crab-like than octopus-like. And number 1. Loch Ness Monster. The Loch Ness Monster is a cryptid that reputedly inhabits Loch Ness, a lake in the Scottish Highlands. Popular interest in the creature's existence is varied since it was first brought to the world's attention in 1933. The most common theory is that the creature represents a line of long-surviving plesiosaurs. The scientific community regards the Loch Ness Monster as a modern-day myth, and explains sightings as including misidentifications of more mundane objects or outright hoaxes. The creature has been affectionately referred to by the nickname Nessie since the 1940s. Thank you for watching Mega Top 10s. Please subscribe and share this video. Goodbye.
Land, covered in glaciers. Land must seem a cold and foreign place to them now. A lone scout swims ahead of his pod before they make an open water crossing. The drop-offs that chasm down into dark water are feeding grounds. Whales gather here. and so does the shark that preys on them. Megalodon, a shark as big as a whale, a shark that ate whales. 1.5 million years ago, the creatures would have confronted the greatest monster to ever rule the seas. The pod travels with young. They must be protected at all costs.